What is good? What is good? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you know who I be. Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV. Back again, once again. You already know what it is, baby. Instant classic in the making. First time to the channel, guys. Make sure you subscribe, notify, do all the good things to make yourself well versed in the Good Doc's content. Everything you need to know about me, listen, link in the description there below. All right. I know people are gonna get tired of me saying this, but I kind of do this for any new viewers that come to the channel. But for those of you who do not know my occupation, what the Good Doc lists on his W-2 is teacher. I'm a teacher. I teach by nature. That's what I do. I'm an educator. That's what they say I do. All right. So this time of year is always a interesting time of year because it is end of the year testing for the chillins, right? For the children. And this particular time of year would not be complete without somebody calling in some type of threat, whether it be a bomb threat or a threat to shoot them up, bang, bang. All right. Now, before testing started, we all got this all call because it was a post that was made on some social media site. My school got this all call telling everybody, look, there's been a threat, blah, blah, blah. What we're going to do is we're going to beef up security. We're going to do this. We're going to do that to provide the proper safety measures. Even though the threat wasn't made directly to my school, it was the middle school next door to me. Basically, that's what they were doing. Come to find out, I go up in the school the next day. No additional security at all. They had teachers with magnetic wands checking student bags. But this beef up of security and additional police presence on campus was definitely null and void, right? Now, nothing happened. Thank God for small favors. Nothing that I'm aware of has happened, and I pray that nothing does happen. But it really does show me a lot about some kids here in the United States of America and the entitlement that comes with it. When you don't want to test so bad that you're willing to call and make a threat to your school because you don't want to test, what kind of bullshit is that? Why don't you just not come? Take your zero, take your L, and keep it pushing. No, that's too easy, right? I gotta call in, I gotta protest, I gotta show all these people that I don't want to test, and I'm gonna do it in the most dramatic way humanly possible by calling it a threat. I don't know if they found out who threatened the place. At this point, it really does not matter. But as I'm thinking about these situations, how often they do happen, not necessarily at my school, but the fact that people do make these calls in often to schools, not just in my county, but damn near anywhere in the United States, I often wonder, where would I want to raise my kids? Would I want to raise my kids, if I have any, in the United States, or would I want to raise them in the Philippines? Now, as a person who does not have kids yet, I often think about whether I want to raise my kid in a Western environment or do I want to raise my kids in the East, studying abroad, getting to know new cultures, getting to be a part, or getting to, well, if I'm in the Philippines, of course, they will be getting to know half of the culture that represents, you know, their bloodline. I often just think about, where do I want to raise my kids? And this is a question that I think a lot of people could really, you know, comment on and have a lot to say about it. I know some guys who have kids in the that have kids that are half Filipino in the United States, as well as kids who have half foreign kids and half Filipino kids living in the Philippines right now. And maybe they're not yet of age where they're going to school. Some of them have kids that are of age going to school. So this would definitely be something I want to hear your thoughts on. But for me personally, I definitely struggle with what I want. I do believe that the United States does provide wonderful, great opportunities for my kids, if I have any, to propel to certain levels. I think that it's going to require me to put my kids in the best learning environment, i.e. certain types of schools, maybe not private, maybe private, magnet schools, charter schools, you know, something to that effect. I'm thinking. I'm not sure yet if that would actually be the ideal approach, but if I'm going to, I would definitely want to look at sending my kid to the best school possible. You know what? That's going to cost me a little bit of money. You feel me? But as I think about the Philippines and what I've learned throughout my college experience there, Do I want my kid to go to a Philippine school? Again, of course, the school that I'm going to send them to is going to be the best of the best of the best, because hopefully I should be able to afford to send my child to the best schools that the Philippines has to offer. Maybe the Ateneo universities or the De La Salles or whatever. I should be able to send my kids to these best schools, right? Because for me, education comes first, guys. First and foremost, I'm all about education. I'm real big on education. I want my kids to be able to excel to the best of their abilities. On the off chance that I'm struggling whether to send my kid to school in the United States or the Philippines, I have even often thought about homeschooling my child. I've even thought about that one, but I kind of felt like homeschool provides too much sheltering, right? It doesn't give my child a chance to experience real world experiences and being around and having a social life. Granted, the homeschool kids here in the United States, they kind of have their own little group setting wherein they do have, for lack of a better term, because this is the first thing that I come up with, play dates, wherein they do get together and hang out with the other kids that do homeschool types of settings. But I also want my child to be able to get the best opportunity that they can, and I don't want to teach my child bullshit, right? Going to the public school system, and I say this with all due respect, but some of the shit that they teach you is nonsense. I mean, there's certain types of sciences that you're required to have as credit that you ain't gonna never use. There's even elevated forms of mathematics that you'll never even use unless you're a goddamn rocket scientist, right? So there are certain things that children learn in school that they're just required to learn in order to get a credit, or required to pass in order to get a credit. But they'll never ever use the thing, right? And in the Philippines, it kind of was like that for me, but that was basic English classes, and for me, because I spoke English, I felt it was useless, but it wasn't. And this is again at college level, but I do believe even at the lower levels, they teach the kids there things that I do believe will make them globally competitive, even in high school setting. And then, of course, as you transition into your college setting, because first year, man, I was into all of my basic classes as well. Yeah, I had to take PE. Yeah, I had to take a basic foreign language class, but that was just 2 classes. But after that, it was all about my course curriculum and all about the, subject matter for my particular course. And even at the lower level, I do believe they don't really teach a lot of nonsense. Of course, PE is still a requirement, physical education. But other than that, it's not too bad. But for me, I often really think about whether I want to homeschool my kid or not, so I can teach them the fundamentals of whatever it is that they're trying to be in life. Right? Whatever you're trying to be, that's what I want to make sure that I help you get to. I'm not wanting you to go to school for useless classes when I can train you or hone in on a particular skill that you're actually interested in, and, basically give you class accordingly. Again, I know that there's a format that a lot of people have to follow. I'm sorry, that the homeschool system has to follow, and I'm okay with that. But overall, I'm just thinking, man, do I want to send my kid to the Philippines to go to school? Do I want my kid to school in the United States or even homeschool? It's definitely something that I think about. And I mean, thank God I still have time to figure that out, because even if my young lady gave birth in the next couple of years, I would still have a couple of years to figure out what I would actually want to do. Because I am a foreigner that really does want to create a better life for myself in the Philippines, I can honestly say that I am gearing towards the idea of raising my kids in the Philippines. Right? I'm really thinking about that. I know that I could find a great school, sometimes a private school. They got all types of shit. It might cost me a little bit more, but who cares? I never think that a Philippine school will cost me more than a United States school will ever cost me. If they even cost on the same level, they better be giving me the same on-par education. Because again, doc don't bullshit with the education. At the very least, my kid is going to be an educated son of a gun. Alright? So, that's just something that I'm thinking about, guys. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about it, where you would want to send your kid to school. I would love to hear it. I'm just, figuring it out as I'm, talking to you guys. And again, I don't want to ever sit there and act like the United States doesn't provide a great opportunity. Never want to shit on that. But then again, where I'm looking to stay or where I'm looking to be in the near future, my ideas are carrying me to want to be abroad, period. Even if it's not the Philippines, it would be abroad, period. So I am considering that thought process as well. Push comes to shove, I'll homeschool my kid. Whatever. Right? So, again, guys, that's just my thoughts, man, and I'm definitely interested in what you guys got to say. If you guys love this video, please feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, and do all that good stuff, man. If you care about it just a little bit more than a little bit, you want to drop a heart on the Good Docs books, a little thank you. There's a heart down there that says thanks. Put a couple dollars on the Good Docs books. Highly appreciate that one. Ebooks, Patreon, that's where the good shit's at. Check me out on Patreon, guys. Yeah, all of my good shit, man. If you enjoyed this video, you already know what to do, man. And you know what time it is? It's time for the Good Doc to go and get to getting. So with that being said, Good Doc is officially out. At least nako paalam, which means I am going now. Bye, bye, bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Mahal kita. Mabuhay. Peace.